Hey you guys, I'm Jen Comas, co-founder of Girls Gone Strong and also head coach of the Strongest You coaching program. Today I want to talk to you all about habits. Breaking habits is a hot topic in Strongest You coaching. I think it's safe to say that all of us have some type of habit that we would ultimately like to change. We are participating in some type of behavior that is impeding our ability to reach our goal, or it's simply just not making us feel like our very best. So in order to do that, we're going to break this video down into a two-part series. Part one today, we're going to be talking about developing some mindfulness and awareness around the behaviors that you're participating in. I'm going to show you with a personal example how easy it is for a habit to be formed, and then also I'm going to talk quickly about the habit loop so you can better understand how a habit's formed. Then next Sunday, part two is going to be posted, and in part two, I will be giving you some action steps that you can take immediately to change the behavior that you're participating in, to disrupt that cycle and replace it with something that's going to serve you better. So in order to kick this off, I'm going to share with you a quick personal story, and we're going to use that as an example to take a look at the habit loop. So several years ago, I was living in Somerset, Kentucky, and the nearest major city to Somerset is Lexington, Kentucky. It's about a 75-minute drive north of Somerset. So once a week, I was driving up to Lexington to go get my groceries. I would go to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and then I would drive home. One day at Trader Joe's, I discovered that they had these little plastic tubs of dark chocolate-covered cherries. So I bought the tub of it, and I ate some on the way home, and they blew my mind. They were so incredibly delicious. So the next week, when I went up to get my groceries, I found myself wanting to do the same thing. Those were so good, so I did the same thing. Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, got my chocolates, ate them on the drive home. This became a routine that I participated in, a habit. I started doing this every single week. Every week that I went up to get my groceries, I would go to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, get my chocolates, eat them on the drive home. This went on for several months. One day I had done the same thing. I was driving home from Lexington, eating my chocolates. I popped them into my mouth and I realized something. I didn't even like them anymore. I had been eating them even though I wasn't even enjoying them. And after I started to think about it a little bit more carefully, I asked myself, when's the last time that I ate these and enjoyed them as much as I did initially? And I couldn't even remember. It had been that long. But I kept doing the same thing because I had developed a habit. So it's incredibly easy for us to develop a habit, and it can be something that serves us really well in the beginning, or feels really good, or tastes really great, but then eventually we don't get the same enjoyment, but we keep doing it because it's so easy to continue to participate in it. So we're going to use that as an example to talk about the habit loop. The habit loop is something that you might be familiar with. If you have read the work of Charles Duhigg, he is the author of the book, The Power of Habit. If you are interested in behavior change, habit change, this book is phenomenal. It has definitely been a game changer for me. So in the book, The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg breaks down the habit loop. The habit loop is a three-part process that occurs inside of our brain when we participate in a habit, and it looks like this. Step one is the cue. The cue is the thing that triggers the behavior that you participate in. Step two is the routine. The routine is the thing that you do. Now, something to take into consideration is that the routine can be physical, but it can also be emotional or mental. And then the third step of the habit loop is the reward. So cue, routine, reward. That's your habit loop. When we take that habit loop and we apply it to the example that I just shared with the chocolate-covered cherries, it's pretty easy to identify each phase. So the cue was my driving to Lexington to get my groceries. The routine was me purchasing those chocolate-covered cherries, and then the reward initially was that they were so delicious, but after further inspection on my part, I realized that they were providing me with some comfort on the long drive home by myself. So this week, what I would like for you to do is identify a habit that you would like to change. This could be something as simple as snacking after dinner, shopping online on your lunch break, anything that you feel like isn't serving your highest self or that is getting in the way of you reaching your goals. So identify that one thing, and then I would like for you to apply the habit loop to it. See if you can identify all three phases of the habit loop to your behavior: your cue, your routine, and the reward. Now, a quick note about the reward, and you may have caught this when I was just talking about those chocolate covered cherries. Oftentimes, when it's food related, the reward isn't always just that it tastes so good. Oftentimes, there's something a little more to that. So I want to encourage you, without over analyzing and definitely without judging yourself, start to dig a little bit deeper. So in the example of the chocolate covered cherries, it initially was because I love them so much, but after I dug a little deeper, I realized they were providing me with some comfort because of the long, lonely drive home. So identify the habit that you would like to change, see if you can apply the habit loop to it, see if you can find out what your cue is, what the routine is that you're participating in, and what is your reward. Next week, next Sunday, part 2 of this video is going to be posted, and we're going to be talking about action steps that you can take to disrupt that habit, and then also to replace that behavior with something that's going to serve you better. Now, I would love to hear from you throughout your journey as you give this some thought over the course of the next week. Feel free to drop me a comment below this video. Let me know which habit you are wanting to change, and if you can identify all 3 steps of the habit loop to it. And I would love to hear from you as you go through this. And then we're going to be talking next Sunday with some action steps for you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I love talking about this stuff, and I'm really excited to hear what you all come up with. I'll talk to you soon.